Attention, the following video is going to totally kick ass. If you enjoy any of it and or have a large penis, please click the like button below. Enjoy.
Hello everybody, KWarp Speedy here, and a lot of people were requesting that I did a class setup video on how to ninja defuse and what the best class is for situations like being sneaky, ninja defusing, and other stuff like that. So let's get to it. The class I use is this one right here. There's so many things you can do. It's basically all up to your preference, and you can change it up every single game you want to try it, do whatever you want. But this is currently the class that I'm using. I'll go through it for you. So our primary, what you guys can do is hit X and completely get rid of your primary if you want. It doesn't even matter. If you want to run around with just a knife, that's fine. Personally, I like to have a primary on at least so I can shoot people. At least gives me the ability to kind of kill someone if I want to. And I like to have the suppressor on there. As for the secondary, I like to just get rid of it. It gives me an extra spot for a perk or something like that. Personally, I hardly even use secondaries, even when I'm playing normally. So for me, it just gives me an extra point to put something else on my class. Up here for perks, Ghost isn't completely necessary, but it definitely does help. If you guys do not know, Ghost allows it so you cannot be detected by UAVs while moving. So most people who ninja defuse sit still and wait for someone to come get the bomb. So if the enemy has a UAV, you're going to be on it. Now, what I like to do is run counter UAV in my kill streaks. If I do have a kill streak and I hear a UAV's up, I call it in. Otherwise, what I do is just hope that they don't call in a UAV. So it's pretty much just all luck. Ninja defusing never really was too much about skill. It's mostly just being lucky and putting the time in to try to get a few. Another thing Ghost is really nice for is you cannot be detected while planting or defusing the bomb. So as long as that bomb's in your hand, you do not come up on the radar, which is very nice. Definitely helps. Now another thing you can use is Blind Eye. I personally don't use it because it just makes it so you're undetectable by AI-controlled air support. And typically in Search and Destroy, there isn't too much air support. So occasionally you might get around where you get a little mad and wish you had Blind Eye on, but it hardly ever happens, so I usually don't like to waste a perk on it. As for the second perks, we have Cold Blooded. It's pretty much the only one here you really need, and it just makes it so you're resistant to targeting systems, and it also makes it so there's no name or red crosshair when you're targeted, so a lot of people might just think you're a dead body, and Cold Blood is pretty much a must, just to make sure your name doesn't come up. As for perk 3, I use perk 3 Greed down here as my wild card. It allows me to have 2 perks. And I like to use Extreme Conditioning, and I also like to use Dead Silence. I use Extreme Conditioning so I can get to my spot faster, and Dead Silence makes it so that you move silently. It's not necessarily 100% needed, but it definitely helps. Not everyone has a headset on, they're paying 100% attention to the game, but usually I have some pretty big tryhards out there that are definitely listening in, and if you make some noises, they're going to kill you, so it's definitely nice to have these. And again, this isn't the end-all only Ninja Defuse class out there. There's definitely other perk combinations you can use, but personally these are the easiest ones to do it with. And then I also have the throwing knife on just because I love it. If you guys want to take away the throwing knife and take away one of these concussions and you want to, go down here and hit perk 1 Greed, go up here and add Blind Eye, then boom, you have Blind Eye. Personally, I don't think Blind Eye is that necessary that you need to waste 2 points on it. And that's just my thought. So anyway, back to how I did have my class here. We have the Combat Axe. That's just in case I want to do a statue defuse and there's no real good spots to lay down at. A lot of people's questions were based around how I hid. So what I do is I just use a concussion grenade and I hold it in my hand. What it does is it pretty much pushes your arms back against your body and puts your head down the slightest bit, and it makes it look like you're sort of dead because I'll put a clip up on the screen here of me doing that, and then I'll put a clip of me on the screen YYing. If you guys don't know, YYing allows you to make your player look dead in other games, but in this game it makes you look like a flailing platypus, so you definitely don't want to do that. And the reason why I have 2 of them on here is because if I accidentally throw one, I still will have one. Now, what you can do is just remove it and say you want an extra attachment here, you want a secondary, that's fine. But what I definitely don't recommend doing is putting something like a small on because this thing will stick up off your back like crazy. So you definitely don't want to do that. A lot of people are always asking me how hard it is to ninja defuse. I personally don't think it's too hard, but once you try to get fancy with it, it's what I like to do when I make my videos. I like to take like a big riot shield out and pretty much try to be flashy with it. Like getting a ninja defuse by itself isn't the hardest thing in the world, but if you're trying to make it special and you want to have a big riot shield on your back and try to hide with that or somehow get a ninja defuse like that, then that's what you're going to do. So it's all about how you feel and how comfortable you feel with it. If you just want to get a few ninja defuses under your belt and do some pretty simple ones, then go for it. If you want to start picking up the bomb, spinning in circles with the gold riot shield on your back and draw a lot of attention to yourself, you might be able to pull it off, but usually you're not going to be able to, especially if the other team's good. Overall, ninja defusing usually comes down to how bad the enemy team is, and if you find a really bad enemy team, then you're going to have a good time. So let me set up my class here, and I'll go into a game, and I'll show you guys tips for picking spots, and we'll get started. Alright, so here we are in Search and Destroy. This is a match on drone here. If you guys are familiar with this map, this is one of the more popular Search and Destroy maps that I keep getting put in. And this map is a really good spot in terms of stuff to hide in. So what you're going to see here is we have some grass, we have some ferns and stuff like that. You can just crawl in here, and what you want to do is try to get into the grass as much as you want. When you're ninja diffusing grass as your friend, just hold in LB or whatever button is the equivalent on PS3, and there you go. You're pretty much sort of hidden. You're kind of moving a little bit. I'll show it in theater, and it does a very good job at hiding you. Now another technique you can use, so let me throw that guy. You can try to find a spot that suits statue diffusing. Now what statue diffusing is, I personally am not the biggest fan of statue diffusing, but some people do like it. Basically you just find a good spot. This isn't the best spot for it obviously, but what you do is just hold in your throwing knife, look up, and turn your volume up so you can hear when they plant it, and it kind of like hide you against the wall, and for some reason people don't see you. It never made sense to me, but they don't see you. Another method you can do is YYing, and as you're going to see in theater here, I'm in that exact same spot, but this time it's not looking like I'm dead. In MW3 this would make me appear dead, but in this game it does not feign death, and ultimately it's just going to get you killed if you're an idiot and try to do this. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit from this video. You definitely don't want to do what you're seeing on the screen right now. That is not going to keep you alive. So yeah, definitely don't do that. So thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Take care, guys.